Welcome everyone, this is John Person, here to give you a detailed description of the 2016 annual seminar. Topic and title is The Trilogy, Trading Method for Stock, Swing, and Day Traders. Some of the techniques that we'll be using are applicable in all three time frames, which really makes my method really robust, as you will see as we go through details of the presentation. Now, where, what, and why do you need to attend? Well, for one, this year's seminar will be held in sunny Florida, the epicenter for sport fishermen, golfers, shoppers, and foodie aficionados, and of course traders. We have a lot of traders down here in South Florida, believe it or not. And I got to tell you, as much as I've been doing a lot of work this year with individual traders and investors, of course, probably one of the largest, fastest growing component, a segment of the industry is registered investment private advisories. These are the guys that are managing others' money, and you're just seeing an explosion in that department. The only problem is a lot of these guys are looking at the research that they're being given, and that research is not really up to par with what's been going on in this environment. So you may feel the same way, and again, there's just been a myriad of people that have told me exactly what they're going through, how bad their performance is with the mirrored against the benchmarks. And I think thousands of traders and investors, as this picture says, it paints 1,000 words, right, have dug their heads in the sand listening to bad advice this year. What do I mean by bad advice this year? You know, it's kind of funny. Is we had a major bank come out and tell people to sell their stocks when the market had already fallen off the November and December highs. We had a system sell signal that had been in place, but needless to say, people were told to sell after the market went down. It was a very big, widely publicized, and a very large international conglomerate bank that told people to sell on the lows. And again, people struggled. We had indicators that were starting to confirm buy signals, and many of you are familiar with the Thinkorswim product, the PPS indicator. That's my proprietary indicator that gives these bullish and bearish indications on the charts by forms of arrows. So arrows that are red pointing down means it's time to look at implementing hedge or selling strategies, and arrows pointing up are indicating that there's a shift in momentum from bearish to bullish, combined with other indicators. And that's the key here. What is the momentum histogram saying? What is this special volume indicator reading like? Does it show distribution or accumulation? So when everyone's selling, somebody was buying and acquiring positions, and we saw the market launch to the upside this year. And you may recall about Brexit, there was that big panic about the exodus of selling stocks right after the aftermath of the Brexit referendum vote, the Britain leaving the European Union. And of course, that turned out to be some pretty bad advice too, because probably the biggest move all year, and which caused the S&Ps to go from slightly up on the year to almost 8%, 7.5% higher on the year. The S&Ps did it all in pretty much the month of July. A staggering reversal of fortune to the upside. Had you listened to experts, you would not have participated in any of that move, and you would have been out a fortune, or at least a strong performance in your portfolio. Now, as we get into the end of July, after the market's already in a market environment where the economy is showing stagnant growth, as the report of the gross domestic product GDP reveals, that we're not really going gangbusters here in the economy, but we are improving. But most years, many people would love to see an 8% year-to-date gain in their stock portfolio. When the S&P 500 is up almost 7.6%, and that's when people come out saying this is a great buying opportunity now. They said sell on the lows, and they're telling you to buy stocks near the highs. Well, we have a couple things that we want to share with you, and I think this is kind of just to give you a detailed look on a day-to-day basis. This is what the market did right after Brexit, and the recovery, the subsequent recovery. And now that the market's way up here, people think it's even going to go higher without maybe some back and fill. And that's what I think we all need to look at. What's really out there, and what can we depend on to learn as far as better indicators? And that's what we're going to share with you at this event. Now, This is one exchange traded fund that's helped us along the year, which is the high yield growth ETF, the HYG, and it's really given some dynamic buy signals, and as well has alluded to the fact that the stock market is maybe a little ahead of itself at this point in time. The HYG, the corporate debt ETF, this is showing that we're starting to see a slide as we ended in towards the end of July. We started to see a slide as stocks were starting to go, get more, people were getting more bullish on stocks. So one goes with the other, and I think this is more of a leading indicator. Besides, look at this indicator over here. This pink line crossing over the blue line. This is a volume indicator, and you can see clearly that we're starting to show that there's heavy, what's called distribution, selling in the market ahead of the overall S&P 500. So we're here to teach you guys and to share with you some really intricate indicators that I think combine the trilogy, these three powerful indicators together. How are they going to help give you, the trader, an edge? Well, first off, maybe you want to know why I'm qualified to teach you. I've taught thousands of traders, investors, educators, fund managers, and even those aspiring to be fund managers. I've taught traders at major exchanges like the old Chicago Board of Trade and the Chicago Mercantile Exchange. I've taught my methods to investors and banks throughout the world for nearly 2 decades. Here's some places you may have seen me at, some of the Traders Expos, or Singapore Investor Super Conference, or for example, teaching over at the CME group here at the Chicago Mercantile Exchange to a group of investors, or perhaps at maybe European trading competitions, which we've won handily. We don't do a lot of that because it's, it's more of less productive for scalping techniques than regular investing. And people like I talk to and deal with are more serious money traders and are looking for ways to enhance their portfolios. So if you're looking to enhance ways to capitalize on gains, I've developed some of the most reliable signals and trading indicators on multiple platforms. Many of you are Thinkorswim clients. You've seen the John Person pivot point studies as well as the PPS indicator. You've also seen it with Trade Navigator, Genesis, or perhaps TradeStation. And this is important because when we have defined signals that generate faster and better than other indicators out there, we have lower risks and we receive, at the end of the day, we get better results. And option traders find that my early signals provide more premium in option writing strategies. Remember, the more time, the more premium one collects. So isn't it important, if you're a trader, to get lower risk, better entries, or at least get an idea that the trend is turning ahead of the crowd? And that's what the indicators that we've developed. And that's why I say I've developed some of the most reliable, robust signals and trading indicators throughout multiple trading platforms. Some include Bloomberg Terminal, which is a very popular amongst the institutional trader using my indicators. Also TradeStation. Boy, you're looking at a picture of an antique. This was the original TradeStation Omega 4.0 that I bought back in the mid-90s. But of course, Thinkorswim, how we utilize my indicators, the PPS buy or sell indicators, to run for advanced scanning. And that's one of the things that's really awesome about Thinkorswim, is that capacity to allow people to scan for trades. And again, our advanced trading platform and setup that we have with TradeStation. As a trader, ask yourself, who's really your competitor now? Is it, other retail traders? Is it the regular mutual fund manager? Who's your competitor right now? Quite frankly, it's high frequency trading, HFTs. It's algorithmic portfolio management technique that's happening, that technology that's improved upon. In this day and age, you've heard that term sector rotation. Well, we're seeing sector rotation on steroids in this environment. I mean, one day everyone's in utilities, the next week everyone's poured into biotech, and the efficiency and speed in which these computers and computer-driven models are able to move vast amounts of monies into a sector or into stocks as a whole is staggering. They've never seen this type of action before, and I think that's what's really confused a lot of people, because by the time it gets in the news 3, 4, 5 days later, we've already seen sectors move 3, 4, 5, 10% in this year alone. So I want to teach you how to strengthen and condition your analytic abilities and focus on acting on algorithmic trade signals. My goal is to set you up with the most proficient trading signals in a fun environment set to learn and comprehend. Now, the price of this event is only $14.78. Act now and take advantage of the early bird registration. I promise you, this is going to be one of the best learning educational events that you sit through and learn from. You're going to get a hard copy of the entire presentation. We're also going to give you a PDF copy as well. We include breakfast, lunches. We don't want to starve people. The brain doesn't work unless you're adequately fed. We're going to have beverages and snacks throughout the sessions. Nobody is going to deprive you of caffeine, for sure. We have a discounted room rate. And at the end of the 3-day session, I'm even going to give you 30 days of our weekly thoughts and observations report. It's a weekly newsletter, or 2 weeks of exposure to our live training. If you're interested in joining me this fall, I strongly suggest you reserve your spot immediately. If you're unsure about the dates or your schedule, simply do this. Take the next 2 weeks to decide if the Trilogy Trading Method seminar fits in your schedule. Sign up. Get your space reserved. If it turns out you can't make it, we'll issue you a full refund at the end of that 2 weeks, or 30 days if you need. But secure your spot today at the Trilogy Trading Method Seminar. Just fill out the secure online form below. You can also call my office at 561-655-1881. Again, that's 561-655-1881. Monday through Friday, 9 to 5. You can call on weekends. We'll return your call. So click on the Register Now button below the video box to sign up. And sign up right now. I promise you, this is going to be one of the best seminar events you've ever been through to learn how to trade yourself, to make your own best trading decisions. And we're going to need it, folks. We're going to need it in a big way, because as we get through this next presidential election cycle, I firmly expect fireworks, as we've got global deflationary pressures mounting. We have two sides of the coin, the bulls and bears on gold. We have interest rates at the verge of maybe stagnating, or perhaps maybe seeing that eventual rise to normalization here in the U.S. with the Federal Reserve, if we get stronger economic data over the next 60 days. So believe me, the rest of 2016 and 2017 and your financial well-being depend on this seminar. We look forward to seeing you there.